you know that?
This is a regular meeting held on Wednesday, June 14, 2017, of the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Pratt.
Here.
Freeholder Grant.
Here.
Freeholder Patillo. Here. Freeholder Rose.
Present.
Freeholder Director Lazaro.
Here. And please join me in a moment of silence and salute to the front. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice is defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975, has been made by regular mail. Such notice being submitted on June 9, 2017, from the Administrative Center in the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, the New Jersey Sunday Herald, the Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, WNNG Radio, and is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for Public Announcements, and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with the Act. Can I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Freeholder Rose, a second by Freeholder Grant. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. I have a proclamation of a certificate in recognition of the Reverend William B. Collins for serving St. Jude's Parish in Hamburg, the Patterson Diocese, his township in Sussex County, with distinction and compassion since 1988. Can I have a motion?
So I'll second.
I have a motion by Freeholder Crab and a second by Freeholder Rose. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Reverend Collins is not able to be here today, and this will be given to him at a later date at a ceremony honoring him for his work. Public hearings, we have none. Public session from the floor. Please note, everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less and only address issues regarding agenda items. Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your municipal residency. Do I have a motion for public session from the floor?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Freeholder Crab, a second by Freeholder Rose. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. The floor is open.
Did you say only on agenda items? Or can I give you an update?
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Jackie Espinoza, Jersey Central Power and Light. 3 things tonight. I guess probably, I haven't been here in a while, so I apologize. A few months ago, I told you guys about a Power Systems Institute that we have at First Energy, where it's a 2-year training. You can apply for it, you get a 2-year associate's degree, and you get training to work on the power lines or on our substations. We just recently hired 35 graduates in New Jersey, at Jersey Central. We have a group starting in the Newton line shop, and we actually have a line woman at the Newton line shop. And she's still going through her training, but that's what we do. So we're real proud of that. She's super nice. And one of the graduates is from Newton. So that was nice too.
Very good.
So there's jobs available. A few months ago, so they went through that, we're working on a tie loop scheme that connects our substation in Montague, called the Holiday Lake Substation, with the one in Branchville. It's completed. And what that means, it's SCADA control. In Morristown at our DCC, they can hit a switch, a button, and they can, change the power and restore the power quicker. We always could do that, but it was a manual, step-by-step process, so it took a while to do it. But now it will be automatic, so that's a good thing. And another one is, I don't know if I told you guys, we had a fundraiser. We have a company-wide fundraiser in March called Harvest for Hunger. We did a bunch of events at the Newton Line Shop, and we raised over $1,000 for the food pantry right here. So
Fantastic.
yeah, so it was a lot of fun. All the linemen, they're very generous, and we had a great time. We had a breakfast. I set the alarms off. It was very exciting. Yeah, I did it. But it was good. That's all I have, unless you guys have something for me.
Thank you very much.
That-
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think of you every time the thunderstorm clouds come up.
I saw that last night, I was nervous.
Anyone else? Motion to close public session?
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Rose, second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Freeholder comments? Freeholder Crab?
Have the honor, as maybe you had seen, that in Franklin Borough, we renamed Hospital Road, which is probably the most misnamed road in Franklin, as there is in Biltmore Hospital, in honor of Sergeant Dennis F. Primock, a Franklin boy who was killed in the Vietnam War. It was special not only to have his family come out from around the country, but we also got recognition from the Army that actually changed the official details of his death from simply hitting a landmine with his half-track vehicle to actually jumping out of his half-track to go rescue one of his other colleagues, and that's when the landmine was hit. Grateful to Congressman Freelinghuysen for helping to get that documentary change, and also had the honor to attend with the Ogdensburg VFW as they honored their Vietnam War dead Sergeant Robert Balmer with an actual headstone in the Immaculate Conception Cemetery there. He'd only had a footstone, and it was quite a nice ceremony that was led by ex-Chief George Lott. And along with my colleagues, we'll be going over tonight for the Firemen's Memorial dedication. That's all that I have.
Freeholder Patillo?
Well, I had the opportunity to attend the Older American Month celebration that was held at Selected Service Insurance. A day filled with a lot of very eager and happy seniors, or older Americans as they're now called. And a lot of great programs were there, wonderful vendors with information, some about safety and other concerns for seniors. It was really well organized. Our Division of Social Services was a sponsor of that as well. And everything that they do, everything that our senior services put together is always so well organized and so very well received. And I think everybody enjoyed the entire day, and they even had a delicious lunch as well. The seniors are always looking forward to that. I'm always amazed that there's always another name for the senior group. You know, we're the older Americans.
We are.
We are getting older every day.
You guys
It was
are.
really a nice day for everybody. I also attended a Community Transit Citizens Advisory Committee that was held at Sussex County on June 13th, and that was just a public hearing. And it was really interesting to see the amount of people. There were probably about 100 people that came. Very hot day, and they felt comfortable enough to share personal stories. And when you actually listen to some of the difficulties that these people have been through, whether it's a medical problem or they live alone and they can't find any transportation, they can't get to doctors, they can't do these different things. Some people were actually in tears when they spoke about how grateful they were that this service was in place. And one woman actually called it her lifeline. So sometimes you don't realize how important this transportation is to certain people in our community. And of course, I think, although they all complimented the service, the way everybody was so kind to them and took care of them, the drivers, and what they asked for was just an extended transit ride. Either, they need it in the evenings, they need it on holidays, they need it on Saturdays, and all with legitimate reasons. I know Tammy Horsfield from our Chamber of Commerce had the opportunity to speak, and she also spoke about tourism and the need for busing and transit to get to different areas in our community that really are tourist areas. George spoke very well too when he was there, and talking about the different reasons why there's this need for in the evenings and on the holidays. And I thought that it was a very successful public hearing. I've often gone to public hearings where they become very adversarial at times, but this one, people were in tears, just so grateful for the service and just sharing their personal needs for why they need that service extended. It was a very interesting time. I also want to mention that the Sussex County Division of Senior Services is in search of nominations for the 2017 Sussex County Senior of the Year. That is a wonderful award, and it's awarded at the fair, and it'll be on, let's see, Thursday, August 10th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The ceremony takes place at 10:30 a.m. If you know a senior that helps people through volunteerism, that advocates for seniors, there's so many good, wonderful role models that are out there that never get recognition, and that's why this is such an important award, is you finally have the opportunity. Not everybody wins the award, but there's so many on stage that have been chosen. And that you get to hear the wonderful things that they do for the community that you would never hear, and they get the recognition that they don't want, but that they deserve. So if you know anyone, you can just call our Division of Senior Services at 973-579-0555, extension 1221. Have a form sent to you, and the form would have to be submitted by July 7th. So if you do know someone, I would just ask, take the time, fill out the form, and give them the opportunity to come and be recognized. Thank you.
She said. Basically, most of the things that I was going to say. I'd like to talk about the transit. We did have a transit public hearing yesterday afternoon, and I'd like to read off a couple of statistics. I was going to get a couple of that. Is that we number of annual riders 109,545. Connect, which is the public bus that does and loops, did 59,000, and the demand response, which is the individual taking a person from point A to point B, is 50,000. The people that did come in did have some things that were of reasonable concerns. But one of the things that has been bothering me, and because I've heard it before, I've been to these meetings before, is the lack of our having bus stops in each one of the municipalities. And I was talking with Tammy and I was talking with Sylvia about trying to put an initiative together to encourage municipalities to allow us to use maybe a private funding, that where a business can sponsor a small shelter, or certainly signage that would allow you to know where the buses are. The buses are looped all over. We are going to be spending more, I don't mean to say it, but we're going to be putting more emphasis on putting those schedules out so people know where those buses are. It's not just a help to those people who don't have the opportunity to drive there themselves, but it also brings commerce to a lot of the businesses that they go to, they attend. It's not just to doctors, it's also to Walmart and Kohl's and ShopRite. People do their shopping on a regular basis, and they need this lifeline. Much of the lifeline is funded by by something called ScatterTap, which is a grant that comes from the casinos. That has been a depleting amount of money. Since the casinos have now moved to online, some of that money is stabilized, so we haven't been able to keep the amount of service in place for the last several years. But one of the things that we were kind of discovering when we were doing the background research on where we were with transit was tourism. The only other county that has something that's kind of like what we have is Cape May. Cape May has a tourism component where there actually are county buses that are used to shuttle people from Cape May up to the Wildwoods and such. And we're looking for outreach money, and a person from Transit yesterday said that might be available for us to be able to put some pilot program of buses that may be able to be in Newton to Action Park, or from certain times of year to just certain things where younger people might go, they can't drive, or older people might go and they can't drive. So we're going to be looking into that. I did go to Older Americans Day at Selective Insurance. You said Selective Service, I get that in my head.
If I say so.
I wanted to pull out my draft card. Older Americans. And what I saw there was, I saw the beginning of a synergy between the senior services and the public health. I saw a synergy coming together. I saw something that there's starting to move in that direction, where instead of having territorial aspects, now it's more of a blend, and people working together to get there. I also, on another note, just in my drive arounds, I am seeing some new signs coming up on retail in different areas. Andover Township has several retail establishments that are beginning to open. So 1 or 2 on Spring Street. Byram has a new, what's the liquor store?
Liquor Factory.
Glad you knew that. Liquor Factory, which was a perfect
He
opportunity.
found it since he started here.
You couldn't ask for a better thing to go into that spot because it's perfect business for that location. I'm glad that they got that there. Also, there's some things that are going on up on Route 23 that we're kind of being aware of from stuff that's going through the county planning board. You know, it's not the big leap forward, but it's definitely making progress in a better direction. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
The only thing I have, and speaking of older Americans, I'd like to wish happy birthday to Freeholder Graham.
I'm going to sing to you.
Older Americans.
You getting up there?
The Social Security card.
Happy birthday
No, that's
to
right.
you.
That's it, Mr.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot either. I was at the Older Americans group, the senior citizen group, or whatever you want to call them. And it was a great morning, wonderful morning to share with all of them and myself. In the road department, the Roseville Bridge is moving right along. They put the arches in. I was not here to see that, but I understand it was quite a feat, even if it was wet. And there's much road resurfacing going on all over the county, whether it be microsurfacing or road lining or signs. There's a lot of activity going, and you're going to be seeing more, so be patient with the delays. The North Jersey Planning Authority was up here and did a program for a small but very vocal group talking about what direction you know, the people in Sussex County want to go for up to 2045, which is many years away. But you know, if you don't plan ahead, you know, you get what you get when you're there. And there was a lot of concerns, as you've heard here, over transportation. That seems to be the greatest need and desire in Sussex County is transportation, being able to get around, to get from A to B and maybe further away without sitting in traffic and being tied up. So that was a very profitable meeting, I thought, and very educational. And that's all that I have. Approval of the consent agenda. We have a resolution reauthorizing an amendment to the professional services agreement with Newton Medical Center, AHS Hospital Corporation for providing of medical diagnostic services for the New Jersey Cancer Education and Early Detection Grant, JC. That speaks for itself.
If you want me to jump in here, that's an amendment to add money in NJC. It's for further diagnostic if there are questionable tests that come back. So a test that's on the borderline, and we're getting quite a few of them right now. This goes, it puts in an additional testing to be certain whether it's positive or negative.
Resolution reauthorization to provide for the purchase of 3 current model year Freightliner Model SD single axle truck cab and chassis for the Sussex County Office of Fleet Management. That speaks for itself. We're replacing some very worn and terrible condition vehicles for the road departments. Resolution reauthorization for the freeholder director or execute a contract for state fiscal year 2018 on behalf of the County of Sussex with New Jersey Department of Military and Veterans Affairs for the provision of transportation services to Sussex County veterans. Again, that speaks for itself. Resolution reauthorization for the freeholder director to execute transportation contract extension for the New Jersey Department of Human Services Division of Family Development to provide $16,830 in funding to the Sussex County Department of Health and Human Services Division of Community and Youth Services for the period of July 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017.
This is Work First New Jersey. It's welfare transportation.
Resolution reauthorization for the freeholder director to execute a social services for the homeless contract extension with the New Jersey Department of Human Services Division of Family Development to provide $86,347 in funding to the Sussex County Department of Health and Human Services Division of Community and Youth Services for the period of July 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017.
This is social services for the homeless, homelessness prevention. And this one and the one before D are both 6 months extension, and that's to get the contracts onto a calendar year.
Resolution read the authorization to provide on-call engineering services for Bridge C-17, Roseville Road over the Lackawanna Cutoff in Byram Township, Sussex County.
This is a change order. It's $50,360 addition, and this is related to the TTF shutdown. And there was a timing issue with the shutdown, pushed things later.
Resolution read the authorization to provide on-call engineering services for Bridge O-07, Passaic Avenue in Ogdensburg Borough, Sussex County.
There's a change order. It's an $83,000 additional. It's also TTF shutdown related.
Resolution reauthorizing the acquisition of Block 120, Lot 19.03 in the Township of Vernon, required for the reconstruction and realignment of Bridge X-09, County Route 565 over the Popicating Creek, Wantage Township.
This is the bridge near Sussex Airport, and this is a transfer from Vernon Township to us. We're going to then do an exchange with U.S. Fish and Wildlife. It's about 1.6 acres.
Resolution reauthorizing the acquisition of property for the reconstruction and realignment of Bridge X-09, County Route 565 over the Popicating Creek, Wantage Township.
This is also the bridge near Sussex Airport, and this is from an adjacent private property line.
Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that the adoption of the said resolution is in and will further the public interest. Do I have a motion on the resolutions?
Make motion.
A motion by Freeholder Graham. Is there a second?
A second.
A second by Freeholder Patillo. Is there discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Craig?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro?
Yes. Approval of the minutes, a regular meeting of May 24th, 2017. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
And a second?
Second.
Motion of Freeholder Graham, second Freeholder Patillo. Is there discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention. Motion is carried. Approval of the minutes of the executive session, May 24th, 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's 2017,
Oh,
not
sorry,
21.
my
I was
mistake.
Yeah, I wasn't in that one.
And a little
2017.
bit in the future, sorry, we'd really do it then.
I know you do future traveling, but you know, time travel is
You let your fingers get ahead of your walking.
Yes, they did.
I'll make a motion for the 2017 version.
Thank you.
A motion by Freeholder Graham. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second Freeholder Patillo. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And one abstention. Motion is carried. Appointments and our resignations. Resolution read the appointment of Mary Jean Ellis Esquire as a member of the Sussex County Mental Health Board for a term of 3 years expiring June 30th, 2020. The resolution read the appointment of Donald Platner to fill an unexpired term as Vice Chairperson for the Sussex County Open Space Advisory Committee for 2017. If there's no objection to considering those both together, I'll hear a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Freeholder Crab and a second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion?
I just want to thank Mary Jean Ellis and Donald Platner. There's so many people that volunteer their time and their efforts, and they don't realize that just being on these boards, sometimes people think going on a board is like a resume builder. It's a lot of hours that go along with everybody who works on these boards, and their contribution is immeasurable. So I just want to thank both of them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No, roll call.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Freeholder Craig?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazaro?
Yes. Resolution 3, approving temporary closure of County Route 517 in Ogdensburg Borough. Resolution providing temporary lane closure of County Route 517 and County Route 613 in Andover Township,
That's a single lane closure. Andover Township requested it.
and providing temporary closure of County Route 613 in Sparta and Byram Townships.
It's Lake Mohawk Country Club function. It's a full shutdown, and it's requested by Sparta Township.
Urging Governor Chris Christie and the New Jersey State Legislature to enact legislation that will permanently extend the 2% cap on binding interest arbitration awards before December 31st, 2017.
NJAC and New Jersey State League of Municipalities both asked for this.
Resolution reading authorization to close Sussex County Bridge L10, carrying Decker Road over Paul and Skilled tributary in Lafayette Township, and to implement, maintain, and modify as necessary an official detour of Decker Road and provide for the enforcement of the temporary bridge closure and road detour.
This is a temporary closure, and it'll be approximately 1 week. And it's for temporary remedial measures for the freeholders that were on the bus tour. This is the one by Montrose off of 565.
Resolution reauthorization of plans entitled Proposed Milling and Resurfacing of Various Streets, Borough of Branchville, dated May 2017, developed by Harold Pelham and Associates for the Borough of Branchville pursuant to a shared services agreement, dated December 14, 2016.
This is Route 630 and Route 519, and it's related to the sewer and gas system work going on in Bridgeville.
And these are all county roads, and they were in the process, within the planning process to be resurfaced, and we held back until they completed their sewer service program, so it didn't get dug up after we did it. A motion for the resolutions, if they can be considered all together.
So moved.
Motion by Freeholder Crab,
Second.
second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Awards of contract change orders and bids. A resolution re-award of contract extension for fire alarm installation, repair, servicing, and monitoring services for the County of Sussex. Resolution re-award of contract for ADA compliant restrooms at the Office of Emergency Management, and this is basically for sleeping area for a 24-hour operation in case that has to be occupied for 24 hours.
So this includes both restroom work and that sleeping area, the director talked about, and it's part of the ADA plan for the entire county.
Resolution re-award of contracts for rental and various road maintenance equipment for 2017 for the County of Sussex.
This is the annual equipment rental contract.
Award of contract for miscellaneous building trade services carpentry to be preferred in and around various Sussex County buildings for the County of Sussex. This was a plan to do more of our work in-house rather than bringing in contractors, so that we could conserve some funds and use the in-house people rather than taking it outside. If there's anything you want to add to that? Okay. Award of contract for purchase of hot pour crack sealing material and rental of crack sealing equipment for the 2017 season for the County of Sussex.
As part of the budgeting process, we worked to move this procedure in-house to save some money. So this is that change doing in-house. It's a 14-week program, and this particular contract is worth $81,000.
Is there a motion for approval?
Motion.
Motion by Freeholder Graham. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Freeholder Crab. Is there discussion? Call the roll, please.
Freeholder Crab,
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazare.
Yes. Resolution repayment of bills. A.
Motion to pay the bill.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Crab and Freeholder Graham, second. Is there discussion? Call the roll, please.
Freeholder Crab,
Yes.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Rose,
Abstain.
Freeholder Director Lazare.
Yes. Bills B. Resolution of payment of the bills. Is there a motion?
Motion to pay those bills.
Motion, Freeholder Crab, second, Freeholder Graham.
Second on those bills.
The second bills. Roll call vote, please.
Freeholder Crab.
Yes.
Good, okay. Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazare.
Yes. Resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the 2017 budget of the County of Sussex relating to budget modification number 1 to the 2016-17 Special Child Health Services Case Management Grant for a total amount of $2,000. Resolution providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the 2017 budget of the County of Sussex relating to the Victims of Crime Act, VOCA, Victim Assistance Project, administered by the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Criminal Justice, Office of Victim Witness Advocacy, Supplemental Program BCS-62-4 15 for the period October 1st, 2016 through March 31st, 2018 in the amount of $400,000 state share.
This is a Chapter 159 grant. It was applied for in August in 2016 by the county, and there's no cash match on our side. All of the match is an in-kind contribution, no cost to taxpayers.
Motion for the resolutions.
So moved.
So moved by Freeholder Patillo,
Second.
second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? Call the roll, please.
Freeholder Kraft?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Lazara?
Yes. No personnel administrative report?
Yes, thank you. I had the opportunity to attend the Sussex County Economic Development Partnership Awards on June 1st. It was a very nice event that highlighted a lot of the innovation and creativity of businesses that are operating throughout the county. So it was my pleasure to be there. Freeholder Graham was there as well and made one of the presentations to one of the businesses. But it's very reassuring when you get in a room of these people who are invested in this county and doing great work, and it was nice to be able to see some of those businesses recognized for the work that they're doing. As Freeholder Director indicated, it was a little wet out in Byram on June 6th when they were setting those arches. I will admit, only because one of our staff members toughed it out and got some good video and pictures there, that the county engineer and I were rained out and came back and took a couple hours to dry out in our respective offices while we pushed some paperwork around. But really, if you have the opportunity to see the work that's been done out there, it's really, really quite a tremendous project. I've met with Dr. Connolly and county staff separately in regards to the Lifelong Learning Center, based upon the conversations that I've had with both groups. I'll be preparing a recommendation to the Freeholder Board shortly. And lastly, if you've not already received, you will be receiving the 2016 audit that has been completed, and you will be asked to consider a certification of review at your next regularly scheduled meeting, as you're requested to do every year. If you have any questions in regards to the audit, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or Rob. That concludes my report.
County Council?
Nothing to report.
Any unfinished business? Any new business? Public session from the floor. Please note, everyone is asked to keep your comments 5 minutes or less. Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your municipal residency. May I have a motion for a public session from the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Freeholder Rose and a second by Freeholder Graham. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Floor is open. My guess.
I was late getting here, and I was just curious. I noticed that in the executive session, closed session, we're going to discuss the legal matters with regard to the solar. I don't know if that was brought up to discuss prior to I arrived.
No.
There was something in the paper about it that there was supposed to be a report coming.
We don't have a final report yet.
Okay. Fair enough. I do have a question that I'm not sure who, maybe Mr. Williams or maybe Mr. Poff, is it Poff? Poff could answer this question. Can the chosen board of freeholders override a decision of an individual town? It's particularly if that decision may become a detriment to the overall county over time.
Regarding, get into a discussion back and forth, but
Yeah,
what-
well, specifically.
if the decision is a town, if it's a town problem, a town issue, a town decision, and it doesn't apply to the county roads or any county properties, I don't think we have any authority to override anything that the town does.
Okay. Okay, so
Correct me
for
if I'm
instance-
wrong on that.
Generally speaking, I'd say that's accurate.
There you go.
Good answer.
For the first time in my life, I'm accurate.
Okay, that's fair enough. Germane to the, and those questions are germane to the conversation of the ongoing debate that's going on in Green Township. I'm sure you're aware of it with the Ambrosia facility. They want to put in a facility in town. It's the zoning thing, and there's a lot of discussion about that. So what I'm trying to find out is, it's kind of difficult. I don't think, what I think personally doesn't matter actually. But the open spaces and the Highland Act, somebody threw them by me, I'm just curious. The open spaces, if I'm correct, deals with land that's acquired through the Conservancy or something, that land stays in perpetuity to be an open space area. Am I correct with that, or in ballpark?
We would have to do it with the specific deed to the property, but I think it's, what you're saying is
So
probably
if I wanted to
accurate.
give my property to open spaces and sign the deed over to them, then somebody would, the county or the conservative, like, does that concern?
My understanding is you can live on it, but you can't develop it any further.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
mean, you could turn your property over to Green Acres too.
That's what we're talking about. So that's like the open space thing. What I'm not familiar with, and I know former freeholder, Mr. Baldwin might be a better person to ask this question, is the Highlands Act and the restrictions that they place on certain things.
The Highlands Act does place restrictions on designations on certain properties. But
Only
you're talking
certain
about
property?
Well, others
Green's
going
not in
back
the
on
Highlands,
this.
is it?
On one side of the street, you have property that's designated as environmentally sensitive, the other side is designated as preserved. So depending on the terrain and wetlands and other things that they consider in making those designations, and you're right, probably which voter would be even.
Well,
And it's almost,
I know that.
it's almost property by property.
Okay.
I mean, like, Greg lives in Byram, it's very split in that way. I live in Stanhope, which is all planning, not preservation, so it's almost property by property.
So, well, the gist of what all of this ties together in my head is, let's say, for example, I decide that I want to take my property and turn it into a halfway house for 8 to 9 adults, whatever. And then I would have to go to the zoning within the town. What if I wanted to open up a home for wayward juveniles and have to get through the zoning?
It's
Okay.
all local.
So those are local, but if the sewerage, or there really is no sewage in my town, it's just septic. So if there is no sewage, and then I decide to put in this unit and I'm housing anywhere from 40 to 100 juveniles, that takes a tremendous strain on your water levels and all those things, which then can affect the Highlands property and all the adjoining property, which does not affect the county as a whole, as opposed to the town.
Yeah, again,
I'm just
Rich
fishing.
well, Rich is probably the best person to ask the question of, but just since you directed it in this direction here, it's still gonna be zoning. The town does the zoning. They break it down as to what part of the town they wanna do one thing, one part of the town they wanna do other things in. And then it goes to levels beyond that. It's what are the overlays? Is the overlays the Highlands? What are the overlays of the state DEP? There's a lot of overlays that have, and it's not something we could answer because we don't have you have to look at the documents and the specifics.
But you did give me information, because essentially, irregardless of what the town says, nay or yay, whatever they say, regardless of what you want to put in there, that's really just the first step. The next step would be that it's in compliance with all of these other things, if I'm correct.
But when your zoning board is making decisions, they make it according to the regulations of the DEP and Highlands and whatever other, department has any control over
So
those
they need to
properties.
be aware of that then.
That would be your local zoning board.
Simply put, Neil, the boards, planning board, zoning board in the town are responsible for controlling what goes on each parcel of property. That's solely their jurisdiction, the town's jurisdiction. And they're bound by whatever guidelines, rules, regulations, laws, whatever, are imposed upon them by DEP, Highlands, whoever, everybody else. So that's all taken into consideration when they make a decision on any piece.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I just say one thing, and Richard, correct me if I'm wrong. If you go on the Highlands site, you can put in that property and you could see what type of designation you would have on that particular piece of property. You could do that right off the Highlands site.
Okay, thank you.
I think we have a lot of that loaded into our own GIS system too.
We do, but the Highlands really does have a great, especially for that area, has a great overlay map. It really does. And Phil was right.
I mean,
Ours also.
when we were thinking, and believe me, this isn't gonna happen, so, when we were thinking about, are we at the point that we're gonna have to site a new landfill, we found out that we couldn't, because we couldn't find 100 acres, 100 contiguous acres that weren't constrained by C1 waterways or by highlands, et cetera. So I think GIS has a lot of that layered into. I'm not sure, maybe.
Motion closed?
A motion to close executive session, is there a second?
I'll
Or,
second.
Sorry, public session. Thank you, Freeholder Rose for second. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Executive session, closed session, resolution providing for executive closed session and not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12 et sec. Whereas the subject matter about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution of the Board of Chosen Freeholders as an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B, and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of Chosen Freeholders to discuss such matters in executive session. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex, in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12B and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into executive session from which the public shall be excluded, and matters relating to litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, update regarding Boxer and the solar project investigation. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be discussed in the public upon the determination of the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders or provided by law that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. And be it further resolved that upon completion of the business for which the board has entered into the executive session, the board shall reconvene and resume its meeting open to the public. We will not reconvene, and we will not make any decisions during the executive session that need to be voted upon. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Freeholder Rose,
Second.
Freeholder Graham. Is there a discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Take note on the agenda of the reminders for the meetings of LACADA, the Planning Board, Development Review Committee, Agriculture Development Board, Lake Musconetcong Regular Plan Board, Open Space Committee, Human Services Advisory Commission, and the Freeholder meeting is June 26, 7 p.m. here. Oh, I'm sorry, at PACCON. We are on the road again, and we will be in PACCON, and I'm sure that they will have entertainment and fine music and drink. And cake, yes, cake, which I can
Just
eat,
wanted to
so.
clarify that that's
I was a little
June
disappointed
28th
there
at
wasn't
7
cake
p.m.
today.
You missing the cake?
What did I say?
That's June 28th.
Oh,
at 7
28,
p.m.
what did I say? 26. Oh, 26, I'm sorry. June 28.
June 28th, 7 p.m. at the
26th.
PACCON Municipal Building.
We have a cake on the 26th.
We have a cake, let them eat cake, okay.
You know what
All right.
happened to the people after they made that comment?
What did he say? What did he say?
He said, you know what happened to those people when they made that comment? Pardon my French, right?
I have a motion for adjournment? No.
Oh, no.
Adjourn. We can't adjourn. Okay, we're adjourning into executive session. Did we adjourn?
I just got so close. We're not gonna be back, so,
Okay, goodbye.
yeah, because otherwise it's gonna be like really hot back.
We are now in public session
Sit down,
again.
Thor.
Is there any further business that needs to come to the board for today?
No.
All right, is there a motion to?
Motion to
close the meeting?
adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Rose, motion by Freeholder Graham. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
What time?